So now this next prayer is called the 7 limbs. It's really just a summary of various practices. Well, I'll go into what these mean later, answering Bill's question really, what all these things mean later. We can say it in English. If you want to say them, you don't have to say them if you don't want to. You just sit and relax. So reverently I prostrate with my body, speech and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and imagined. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginning this time, and I rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings, including ourselves. So please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings. I dedicate my own merits and all those of all others to the great enlightenment. That'll do for now. So now, just we can do the 9-round breathing meditation. It's a way of stabilizing. They say it's a way of stabilizing your mind. It's got a kind of a subtler meaning about the subtler wind energies in us. You know, the way of breathing can steady the mind, steady the winds, which means steadying the mind, because the mind rides on the winds, as the Tibetans would say. This is kind of relating to this subtler way of understanding our physical and mental energies. So it's a way of using the breath, but also it's a very nice little mental meditation, using your mind, you know. So the idea is, they call it the 9-round breathing. We do a few sets, 2 or 3 sets of these 9 rounds. So a simple way to do it, you imagine the first 3 breaths, you just imagine all the air leaving through your left nostril. And you imagine it's all your attachment. And as we've been talking, that means the dissatisfaction, always wanting something more, emotional hunger, expectation, neediness, projecting onto people, expecting them to make us happy, possessiveness, all this spectrum of this primordial mental illness that runs all of us, called attachment, that breaks our hearts. Imagine all that energy disappearing like yucky smoke through your left nostril, disappearing into space. The first 3 breaths. The next 3 breaths, you imagine all the aversion, which is the result when attachment doesn't get what it wants, or when it runs out. Aversion, anger, annoyed, irritated, frustrated, general kind of stress and that's that unhappy energy, the aversion energy, all the way to depression and despair, the spectrum of aversion. All of that leaving through your right nostril, like this yucky smoke, disappearing into space. The third 3, both nostrils, like yucky smoke, leaving all the ignorance, all the indifference, all the uncaring, all the kind of this energy of ignorance. We'll talk about this. All disappearing into space, not one atom left. So now you can add another component. Whenever you breathe in, obviously, the air with the first 3, all the attachment leaving out the left, you breathe in through the right, and you imagine breathing in this blissful, radiant light, all the energy, the joy and the happiness and the bliss of all the enlightened beings of the whole universe coming in through your right nostril, completely filling you, and then it will drive out all the yucky attachment energy through the left nostril. So like it comes out into you and then drives out the attachment neediness. And then the next 3, the opposite, all the blissful light of the whole universe, all your marvelous own potential coming through the left nostril, right into you, driving out all the aversion, all the blah, blah, blah. And then through both. So the first 3, out through the left, attachment. Next 3, out through the right, aversion, anger. Next 3, out through both, ignorance. And in each time the opposite. So just get a rhythm of it and just use it. During the breathing should not be loud and forced, but very complete breaths all the way down to your abdomen. And just really using your mind, imagining these things, wanting this. And remember, sowing the seeds, how marvelous. And the more kind of sincere and heartfelt we are, because it's the power of our mind, the more the benefit. This is the point. It's our mind that does all this. There's nothing else. It's our mind that does all this. Just a few times. If you forget what you're doing, just start again. Okay, relax. So I think we can just do, this morning we can just do different kind of prayer things. We'll explain all the benefit of all these things later. We can recite, there's a series of verses that go through these main points that we discussed yesterday, which is a summary of the entire path to enlightenment. And it's by Tsongkhapa, and it's the three principal aspects of the path. And it's on page 128, 129, 130, whatever. My book's different. 129. So just reciting, yeah, whatever, you'll find it. You'll see the headings. It's really just stating in a poetic form the various points of the path. And the logic of this being, like we've been saying, the whole Buddhist idea is everything we think. We're not used to thinking this way, Everything we think, every tiny millisecond of every thought has a certain quality. And it's going to sow seeds in our mind. And that is what produces us. This is the thing that is hard to hear. This, over countless lifetimes, is what produces the whole universe. So here we're putting the thoughts into the mind. We're sowing the seeds of this entire path to enlightenment, sowing the seeds of it, which creates the cause to become familiar with it, which creates the cause to want to practice it, which creates the cause to actually eventually accomplish it. It's one of the, and if we did nothing else in a day as a practice, you couldn't beat this kind of thing. For putting it's got real benefit, But the only way to really understand that is to understand karma. Otherwise, it's just empty words. It's just saying things. We think just words have no meaning, But if we understand karma, it's a completely different view. It's what produces us. Our own thoughts produce us, So just either listen, just contemplate the meaning, or you recite with me, as you wish. The essential meaning of the victorious one's teachings, the path praised by all the holy victors and their children, the gateway of the fortunate ones desiring liberation. This I'll try to explain as much as I can. Those who are not attached to the pleasures of samsara, who strive to make freedom and endowments meaningful, who entrust themselves to the path pleasing the victorious ones, you fortunate ones, listen with a calm mind. Without the complete intention, definitely, to be free from samsara, there's no way to pacify attachment seeking pleasurable effects in the ocean of samsara. Also, by craving for cyclic existence, embodied beings are continuously bound. Therefore, at the very beginning, seek renunciation. Freedom and endowments are difficult to find. This means that the qualities of this life we've got that we so take for granted, we'll discuss all this. And life has no time to spare. By gaining familiarity with this, attraction to the appearances of this life is reversed. By thinking over and over again that actions and their effects are unbetraying, and repeatedly contemplating the miseries of cyclic existence, attraction to the appearances of future lives is reversed. When, by having trained in that way, there is no arising, even for a second, of attraction to the perfections of cyclic existence, and all day and night the intention seeking liberation arises, then the thought of renunciation has been generated. That's the first of these three principal aspects of the path. That's junior school and high school. Even if renunciation has been developed, if it is not possessed by the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, it does not become the cause of the perfect bliss of unsurpassed enlightenment. Therefore, the wise generate the supreme mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta. Swept away by the current of the four powerful rivers, tied by the tight bonds of karma, so hard to undo, caught in the iron net of self-grasping, completely enveloped by the total darkness of ignorance, endlessly reborn in cyclic existence, ceaselessly tormented by the three sufferings, thinking that all mothers are in such a condition, generate the supreme mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta. In short, if like the mother whose cherished son has fallen into a pit of fire, and who experiences even 1 second of his suffering as an unbearable eternity, your reflection on the suffering of all mother sentient beings has made it impossible for you to bear their suffering for even 1 second, and the wish seeking enlightenment for their sake arises without effort, then you have realized the supreme precious mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, the second principal aspect of the path, which is the first part of the bodhisattva wing. Without the wisdom realizing ultimate reality, even though you have generated renunciation and the mind of enlightenment, you cannot cut the root cause of circling. Therefore, attempt the method to realize dependent arising. One who sees the cause and effect of all phenomena of both cyclic existence and the state beyond sorrow as forever unbetraying, and for whom any object trusted in by the grasping mind has completely disappeared, has at that time entered the path pleasing the Buddhas. If the appearance of dependent relation, which is unbetraying, is accepted separately from emptiness, and as long as they are seen as separate, then one has still not realized the Buddha's intent. If these two realizations are happening simultaneously without alternation, and from merely seeing dependent relation as completely unbetraying, the definite ascertainment comes that completely destroys the way all objects are apprehended as truly existent. At that time, the analysis of the ultimate view is complete. The third principal aspect of the path, that's emptiness. Renunciation, bodhicitta, and emptiness. Furthermore, appearance eliminates the extreme of existence, and emptiness eliminates the extreme of non-existence. If you realize how emptiness manifests in the manner of cause and effect, then you are not captivated by wrong notions holding extreme views. In this way, you realize exactly the vital points of the three principal aspects of the path. Resort to seeking solitude, generate the power of effort, and quickly accomplish your final goal, my child. These teachings by the virtue beggar, Lama Tsongkhapa, who has extensive listening, was composed as advice for the nephew of Ponpo Nawang Dragpa. And then Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who translated. It was translated into English by the beggar of food and sleep named Lama Zopa, with the editorial assistance of the devoted Jonathan Landau in November 2006 at Cacho Dechen Ling, Aptos, California. This translation was undertaken with the intention of producing an English version that would include all the words contained in the original Tibetan, a number of which were omitted from some translations previously available. It is hoped that the present work will enable more people to receive benefit from Lama Tsongkhapa's precious teachings. Stanza 8a is not part of Lama Tsongkhapa's original text, but has been added here following the Pabonka Rinpoche's outline. And stanzas 11 and 12 were revised at Kopan Monastery. So Lama Zopa's dedication. So we think this as well. We think this. From the merits collected by doing this work, transmitting Lama Tsongkhapa's pure teaching, the heart of the 84,000 teachings of Buddha, into a Western language in a way as close as possible to the words and the meaning of the root text. May this be most beneficial for all sentient beings, bringing kind mother sentient beings whose lives are lost under the control of karma and delusion, totally enveloped in the darkness of ignorance, to the achievement of enlightenment as quickly as possible. May anyone who merely sees this text, reads this text, teaches this text, hears about this text, or keeps this text, thereby actualize indestructible Guru devotion, seeing the Guru as Buddha, and train well in the three common principles of the path, actualize the two stages, and achieve the unified state of Vajradhara as soon as possible. May he or she especially generate loving kindness, the compassionate thought, and bodhicitta, and immediately become a source of peace and happiness for all sentient beings, especially in this world. And may all war, famine, disease, sickness, epidemics, torture, poverty, and the dangers of fire, water, wind, and earthquakes immediately cease, so that no one will experience any of these undesirable circumstances ever again. May the pure teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa flourish continuously and spread in all directions. And so now let's do that meditation I mentioned about speech. So you'll need your book. Most of it's just you listen and visualize, and then you need the book for the Sanskrit mantras. And you will find it on page 59. Yeah? So just meditate, okay? Just think, meditate. And then I'll tell you when to get your page open ready. Get the next page ready. It says the vowels and the consonants and the heart mantra of dependent relation. We're going to recite those 3 at different times. But the rest of it, just meditate as I talk. Okay. So if you've received initiation, you manifest yourself as a deity. If not, just visualize the Buddha above our heads. Just the Buddha. Golden light body, sitting on a throne. You see it, it's on a lotus, on a throne. The throne is like a square structure, and his radiant golden light, very blissful face, very clear, very kind, compassionate eyes, sweet red mouth. They say it's red from teaching with compassion. As you see in the statues, this his hair, this ushnisha thing, his left hand in his left hand in his lap, holding a begging bowl, and his right hand on his right knee, the fingers pointing down. When he was sitting under the tree to get enlightened, he had his hand in that mudra, and he's touching the earth. It's called the earth touching mudra, and he vowed he wouldn't move until he achieved Buddhahood. And if we have a spiritual teacher, we visualize that it's their mind manifesting as the Buddha. And we just leave the Buddha above our heads throughout the meditation. So now, imagine on your tongue the syllable R. These are Sanskrit. We'll see that in the Roman letters, AH, standing upright. It's standing upright on your tongue, and it transforms into a moon disk. So the R turns into a flat white moon disk on your tongue. Imagine. So on top of that appears a white Om, O-M, standing upright in the middle. And now you imagine it's surrounded by all the white vowels. Well, obviously we don't know them, so just imagine all the vowels, all going clockwise, all standing upright, going around. Yeah, all the vowels. And then surrounding them are going counterclockwise, all the red consonants. Counterclockwise. Just imagine. And then around those, clockwise, are the blue dependent related heart mantra, or the mantra of dependent arising. Clockwise. So you're on top of your tongue, all of this. So now you imagine light beams go out from all these syllables, and it goes to all the 10 directions of the universe. And you imagine what it does is hook the energy, the blessings and the power and the energy of all the mundane and supramundane speech of all the beings of the universe in the form. So just imagine hooking all that energy. So this includes, you think of all the power of speech, of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas and all those living in all the different levels of practice, and all the Arhants, as well as all the power of speech of anybody who's even practicing virtue. So imagine all this light going out from all those syllables on your tongue, hooking the energy of all the power and the blessings of this amazing speech, from all the holy beings and ordinary beings. All of those who've actualized the power of speech, the power of truth. The people who've got great power in their speech. So due to the power of abiding in silence and of living in the morality of abstaining from the negative karma of speech, the words of all these great beings have so much power. Whatever they wish, it brings success. So you imagine all the blessings, all of this is hooked by this light, and it all comes back and absorbs into the syllables on your tongue, making them so radiant, so powerful, so marvelous. So now we're going to recite the vowels. So open your eyes now and look on page 60. And as you recite the vows, you visualize now white nectar pours down from these vows and fills your entire body, completely purifying all the negative karma we ever created since beginningless time by harming sentient beings with our body. So we imagine this, all the countless lifetimes, not just this life, but all the negative karma we've created in this life with our bodies, the stealing, the sexual misconduct, the killing, the harming others. And then since beginningless time, if Buddha's right, then we've had these countless lives, and especially as animals, where we've done so much inconceivable harm out of our incredible suffering ignorance, harming so many sentient beings with our bodies. So imagine this white nectar pouring down, filling us completely as we recite these vows, completely purifying all this negative karma. Be so delighted. Om I U Ri Li E O Ang Svaha. Om I U Ri Li E O Ang Svaha. Om I U Ri Li E O Ang Svaha. Imagine completely purified by this radiant white nectar filling us. How fantastic. And now as we recite the consonants, we visualize from all the consonants on our tongue, red nectar pouring out and filling us completely and purifying every atom of any harm we've done. And of course, it's mostly as humans, since beginningless time with this part of our energy, with our speech. The lying, all the speculating, the rabbiting on about nothing, the harsh speech and all the disharmonious speech behind backs. All the harm we've done with our speech to countless sentient beings throughout time. Total, in this life especially, since all this life and all past lives, this red nectar filling us, purifying every atom of this negative karma, causing it to completely disappear. How fantastic. Om ka 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 ga nga cha 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 jana ta 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 dana ta 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 dana pa pa ba ba ma yara lava shasha sahaksa svaha. Om ka 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 ga nga cha 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 jana ta 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 dana ta 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 dana pa pa ba ba ma yara lava shasha sahaksa svaha. Om ka 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 ga nga cha 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 jana ta 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 dana ta 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 dana pa pa ba ba ma yara lava shasha sahaksa svaha. Completely purified all the negative speech, harmful speech, by this blissful red nectar filling us. How amazing. So now as we recite the heart, Rinpoche calls it the heart mantra, dependent relation, or we can just say the dependent arising mantra related to emptiness. We recite this 3 times, and from the syllables on our tongue, blue nectar pours down and fills us completely. And this is, purifying all the negative karma collected by our mind, which is the source of all the other rubbish. In other words, it instantly purifies all the delusions. And all the karma as a result of all this, which is all the karma we ever created, instantly purified all the delusions, in particular ego grasping, the root delusion that clings to the independent, real, solid, concrete, absolute, poor, self-pity me. Instantly purified. Blue nectar filling us. Om ye dhamma hetu pabava hetun teshan tatagado yevedat teshan shayo nirodaya vamvadi mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava hetun teshan tatagato yevedat teshan shayo niroda evam vadi mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava hetun teshan tatagato yevedat teshan shayo niroda evam vadi mahashramanaye svaha. Totally full of this blue nectar. All the delusions gone. How amazing. So now, you imagine on our tongue, the The dependent-related heart mantra dissolves into the consonants. The blue dissolves into the red consonants. And the red consonants dissolve into the white vowels. And the white vowels dissolve into the Om, sitting in the middle. And the white Om dissolves into the moon disk. And then the moon disk turns into an R. And that transforms into pink-coloured nectar. And this pink-coloured nectar dissolves into your tongue, which becomes of Vajra nature. Your tongue becomes very heavy and strong, as if difficult to move, and as indestructible as a Vajra. Nothing can harm or take away or destroy the power of your mantra, the power of your speech, thinking of this. And then to have very strong confidence that all the power and blessings of the speech of all the Buddhas and all the Bodhisattvas and all the sages and all the yogis and all the yoginis and all holy beings and have entered your speech, and that your speech is perfected. Think, I have perfected my speech. So the minute that sentient beings hear your speech, it pacifies their emotional and disturbing thoughts, and that whatever you say becomes actualized. Imagine this, full of the power of speech, our ability to benefit sentient beings. This is the greatest, this is the main offering of the Buddha. You can see 1 million Buddhas' beautiful bodies every second around you, surrounding you, but until they open their mouths, we have no benefit. The speech is the level at which we communicate, and that gives us the instructions, that gives us the methods that we then internalize so we can become our own Buddha. In our daily life, this is how we benefit sentient beings, with our speech. Of course, other ways too, but this is marvelous. So by thinking in this way, the power of your speech becomes marvelous, and whatever you recite, all your prayers and mantras become multiplied 10 million times, and your speech will never become like gossip. By the power of mantras, the power of your speech will not be snatched by eating. You have to work that one out. I don't know where the notes are. I think I didn't include the notes, so we'll have to imagine what that means. So now we just dedicate the little prayer you can say together. The last word, dedication prayer, or just think it. May my tongue have all the courage of the ones gone to bliss. By the power manifesting from these glorified words, may all sentient beings be subdued, and whatever words I say, may all these actions be accomplished instantly. So now we can dedicate. When we do our little 5 dedication prayers, the Rinpoche said are the essence of all the main ones. There are hundreds of them, and we can do some longer ones sometimes. But these essential ones, there's 2 different places you're going to find them, but I always forget where they are. I thought it was 196 or something. There's one place, I think. No, it's not there. I'll have to look it up. I think it's the end of daily. It's also at the end of daily prayers, 52. Just at the end there, I think. I've got a feeling. Yep, there it is. After the ones we've just done, go to the next page and you'll see, a couple of pages later, you'll see them. 5 essential dedication prayers, page 56 or something. So just think it. Think these words, if they have meaning for you. As a result of the 3 times merits of myself and others, may bodhicitta, from which the happiness of all sentient beings comes, be generated in the minds of myself and other sentient beings without delay, even for 1 second, and that which has been generated, may it increase. As a result of the 3 times merits of myself and others, may emptiness be generated in the minds of myself and other sentient beings without delay, even for 1 second, and that which has been generated, may it increase. Now we'll do your best here. Just do a little meditation on emptiness. I'll read Rinpoche's words. Just do your best. Now think this, okay? Dedicate in emptiness. Meditate very intensely and precisely as you recite the next prayer we're going to do. So when your mind is in that state, labeling the 3 times merits of myself and others, may I achieve Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's enlightenment, or lead all sentient beings by myself alone, etc., you can see that it is just mere imputation. That the 3 times merits, enlightenment, I, empty of existing from their own side. Everything appears to you as mere imputation. Your dedication is mere imputation. It's not completely non-existent, but it's like non-existent. If that kind of idea comes, it is extremely good, correct. So as we recite this prayer, do your best. As a result of the 3 times merits of myself and others, which are empty from their own side, may I, who am empty from my own side, achieve Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's enlightenment, which is empty from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are empty from their own side to that enlightenment which is empty from its own side, as quickly as possible, by myself alone. And the last one. Whatever dedication, no, not quite, second last. Whatever dedication the victorious ones gone to bliss of the 3 times have admired as best, I shall also perfectly dedicate in the same way all these roots of virtue, so that I may perform good works. That was number 4, but the 4 is missing, or the 4 is on the wrong page. Okay. Next one, final. Because of the past, present, and future merit created by me and by the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and sentient beings, may I, my family, students, and all sentient beings be able to actualize completely in this very lifetime Lama Tsongkhapa's path of unified sutra and tantra, which is pure like refined gold. And may this pure teaching of Lama Tsongkhapa spread in all directions and flourish forever. So now we think of breakfast. We know they're all out there working so hard. We know that people have brought up some of the food from Namche on their backs. We know that, certainly for Sumton for like 50 years would go down to Mende, I think, or round about, and she had potato patches where her knees are gone because she just walked up and down these mountains 1,000 times, cooking for people who come here. All these people who've worked so hard. All our kind guides, whose job it's not really to do, but they serve us still. Amber and the others, taking care of us, putting us first. And all the creatures who died on the planting of these vegetables and the cooking of them. Countless sentient beings have been involved. So we think of them. We think that but for their work we wouldn't have breakfast, And look at the effort we'd have to make to get our own breakfast. Unbelievable. So incredible gratitude to these kind sentient beings. And we think we're going to eat to be healthy and fat, so we can continue to work on our minds, doing this in here, thinking about the meaning of life, developing our marvellous qualities, so that we can repay their kindness and the kindness of all sentient beings throughout countless lives who've helped us, taken care of us, looked after us, nurtured us, loved us. Countless sentient beings. Even if they're not thinking about us, it doesn't matter. But for their work, we would not even exist. This is a fact. How kind these sentient beings are. So we must get healthy, must continue to practice so we can repay their kindness. Thinking like that. And then now enjoy our breakfast. Okay. So we preserve our speech until lunchtime.